Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Greg Furman, market analyst here at TraderPlanet.com, and these are the market trades for April the 21st, 2010. Now, getting started tonight, we're going to be looking at the foreign exchange market, specifically the US dollar, Japanese yen. We can see that the triple EMA crossover here actually took place about the beginning of March, the first part of March. We've extended from the 90 area all the way up to the 94, just above the 94.50 area. Very nice move there. Good call on Vantage Point. I was in this trade actually myself. It then turned on us with risk aversion and everything else that was happening. It then reversed lower. Now, the interesting thing, the one thing I like here is we're not getting the complete reversal signal. Even though we have these two candlesticks that have crashed lower based on risk, like I said, risk aversion and all these other things, the reality is this thing is still holding in a buy formation. So for tonight, we're going to be looking at our pivot support. Right now, we're going to identify that 92.78, 92.95, and 92.88 with a close of 93.22, which makes this an attractive trade. So what we're going to be doing is looking for a pullback towards this 92, anywhere between 92.95 and 92.78 to get into our entry point. We're then going to have our stop below this 90, just below this 92 area, about the 91.20 area actually, to get into this trade. We want to give this thing lots of room to develop. Now your day traders, you're going to be looking at a minimum of a 60 pip stop. Your more position traders, they're going to be looking for 100 plus pips outside of that broker radar, excuse me, which is usually what I prefer to do. So again, those buy positions look good for tomorrow, but let's go in, let's have a look at the daily predicted high, predicted low, and make sure everything is lining up the way we want it to. Now, again, the US-Japan currency pair certainly has been a volatile one, but when it gets into a trending move, we get some real good moves. So 92.83, so the predicted low from Vantage Point for tomorrow is confirming that area. Then we have 93.47 as the high. So we're going to be looking for about a 70, 75, 80 pip move, potentially even higher. I think if this 92.83 area holds, the US-Japan could easily extend back up over that 94 area in the days ahead, excuse me. So that's our first position tonight. Now before we leave this, I'm just going to put this on so everybody can see this. We're again going to quickly run through our crossovers and everything just to make sure everybody's on board here. Now looking at the US Japan and the crossovers, we're going to hit the short-term crossover here from Vantage Point. We can see that the short-term crossover is just taking place right now. It's a fresh cross on the short term. That's what we like to see. So we're hoping that this pullback is going to be very, very shallow. Now, looking at the medium-term crossover, we don't have that crossover yet. Now, the long-term crossover, we're going to see how things look there. We're not yet there on the medium and the long term, but the short-term crossover looks good. Now, the predicted TSI, we're going to apply that here also and see how that looks. Predicted TSI is still moving lower, but again, I think that we're going to see that move come out of there and it's going to extend higher. Now again, the predicted MACD, what are we looking at with that? The predicted MACD also crossing over to the downside, however still clearly above that zero line. So again, we're going to be looking for this to reverse in the days ahead. Now adding a custom indicator on here using the long-term crossover, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put in the Vantage Point predicted highs and predicted lows so we can review it and see what it's been doing over the last little while. Now hitting the predicted highs and predicted lows from Vantage Point, this is what we're looking at for tomorrow. Now we can see that these predicted highs and predicted lows, the market has stayed contained in this area for some time. On the breakout down below right here, we broke through that predicted moving average from Vantage Point, the predicted low. The next day it hit the bottom of the predicted low and then extended higher. Now what I want to draw everybody's attention to here is that the predicted high today was broken. We can see that hasn't happened in any of this area along here on Vantage Point's predicted high except for this one candlestick right here. So looking at that one candlestick, that significant candlestick right above this 93 mark that's broken through, we're going to be looking for a shallow pullback and then an extension higher. We can see that the black line here from Vantage Point also sitting at about that 92.80 area, and that's where we want to look to get into this buy position. Now again, this is somewhat counter trend. Not all of our indicators are supporting this, but I believe based on what I've just run through here, that this is going to hold, and the 92 area, 92.85 area is going to hold, and from there we can move higher. Now, that's our first position for tomorrow. Our second position, we're going to be moving off into the equity markets. Now, looking at this, we're going to be looking at the E-mini Russell 2000. This is in a very good move here. So let's identify our key levels of pivot support: 700.06, 711.05, 716.38 with a close of 720. Everything looks good here for the Russell to extend its move higher. We're going to be looking for a slight pullback here. So let's go into that vantage point, predicted high and predicted low, and see what we have happening for tomorrow. Now, again, the Russell has been in a very good move here. We've got this call from vantage point in the early part of February, and it's still extending higher. A lot of people looking to sell, but there's no reason to sell if we have a good trending move. Now, 712.81 is our predicted low. 725.15 is our 725.15 is our predicted high. We want to remain in the buy position here. We were looking for a slight pullback towards the 712.81 area to make sure that we doing this forecasting and putting these trades out tonight. We're actually forecasting for tomorrow's trades. We're going to wait, let the market come to us, and get into those buy positions as we've done on so many other occasions. Now, again, 712.81 is our area. We've got all stops in this particular case would be below this 700 area. We can see this lone candlestick here has come down off the triple EMA, tried to get through, couldn't get through, and subsequently extended all the way back well up over that 700 mark. Now let's go back in, add a couple of other indicators to this one too. Let's put on that predicted high and predicted low, and let's see how accurate the predicted high and the predicted low from vantage point has been over the last little while. Now this is an indicator I've always enjoyed. Now we can see here, I'm just going to take this off so everybody can see it. The predicted high and predicted low, the low was breached right here. That's about it. Over the last little while, we can see that the market's been running along. This is a great setup using the Vantage Point software because we're using the triple EMA. We only have predicted moving averages on the screen. Then what we're doing here is we're looking for the market to come down. We're using the triple EMA predicted moving and the predicted moving averages as major support lines, and then using the predicted highs and the predicted lows to look for that daily range. So in short, we've got an intraday trade setup, a medium-term trade setup, and a long-term trade setup all in one. So everything looks good here for this. Now, you'll notice that I very seldomly put too many other indicators on my chart. Very important, guys, that we don't clutter up these charts. There's no reason for me to put the neural index on this chart because it very clearly shows me the neural index on the daily report. So I don't really need to add that to the chart because it's not telling me anything that I don't already know. So bringing that back up, we're going to look back in here just to demonstrate that. We can see here the neural index, which is the 1, has turned from the last 2 days has been 0. We've now turned to 1. So we're expecting again another move higher, a little minor correction in the Russell 2000.